Namaste. My name is Imhotep L. So this particular episode acts as a receipt for those people that participated, the members that signed up for my secure party credit account. And I just want to kind of give a little bit of proof of what's been going on. So essentially, the last 1 to 0 binary code that was dropped was between, you can go look this up online. This is what I want you to do for your homework assignment, because I'm going to do a few videos on this because I don't have much time here. But I want you to go look up the Angels versus the Detroit Tigers game. Very important game. And they had a 1 to 0 binary code that dropped, I think it was like 2 days ago, but it's important to me because of the fact that when I first got into, I guess you could say, organized street politics. When I first got into organized street politics, it was an affiliation and a connection that I had made in Detroit. And a lot of people, this was years ago, and a lot of people knew about that. So I kind of had some, I guess you could say, some liens and stuff like that on my strawman name, the name that you guys donate to on the 13th Sign Astrology at gmail.com. I don't care if you donate $1, it's cool. But I kind of had some liens on that, on some stuff with my background that I'll go into, because I'm using this myself as an example, because I'm going to teach you how to get credit out of stuff. So we're going to use a real example for the next few episodes. Because this is the third day that they've held these ones, so now it's time to go ahead and start giving some proof. So I had a little bit of political business, essentially, out of Detroit. And when I first got into this political organization, I had no ties to California, but in the course of the past couple of years, I've made a couple of trips. Even just a few months ago, you can check my channel out. And I made a couple of trips out to California. However, California, LA won the ones. So I took the side of the Tigers and decided to go ahead and visa into the ones. And that's how you would do it. So when it's a 1 to 0 binary code, if you're the 0, you don't have to be the 0 forever. You just have to visa the 1, and you get, time to do it and to prove that you're on the side of the 1. So for instance, with this one that dropped, and I appreciate all the donations, but where Imhotep has to come up with $145,000 worth of credit. And once Imhotep comes up with $145,000 worth of credit, he's going to then be responsible for a full-fledged studio movement on this channel. And that's essentially what's going to happen. So that's what this one is worth. And it's pretty serious too, because it's kind of sad, but a friend of mine that had an investment group, and he taught me a lot of trade secrets. After this one drop, is going through some stuff with some stuff with the law. I'll just say that. And I believe, he doesn't know it, but I believe it's acting as an annuity because of the one dropping, and that's why he's going through this. I don't know if he knows this or not, but anytime you're dealing with the law, these are charges. And when the annuities drop, see, that's why people, they wish for ones, and everybody wants to be the ones and all of that, but the ones is the law too. Now, you can still get credit out of it, I'm not saying that, but if you can't prove that you got $145,000 some kind of way, see, this is why people donate to me. You're technically on the side of a 0 to 1, so you have to come up with either you got a piece of property, just like bonding out of a situation. You got a piece of property, a car, or something like that to back. Say you say you want to be a part of the credit aspect of it. So it's like, if this one drop, that's the sad part about it. Every time the annuity drops, you have to re-sign up for credit. So even I have to do it. Everybody has to do it unless you on a certain level. Like, it's like $1 million worth of insurance, just like insurance. Like, if you don't have $1 million in cash, guess what? You got to pay insurance. Did you know that if you drove a vehicle and you had a certain amount of cash, you wouldn't have to have insurance by law? They don't tell you this. But if you got like $1 million or like gold or something, or something that's worth, it's not even $1 million to drive. It's like maybe $10,000 or $20,000, and something that's really worth that in cash, you ain't even got to drive. I mean, you ain't even got to get car insurance. So don't get caught up on the myths and the hypes and thinking that this is all like a game. This is real. So like when I make these episodes, I have to prove certain stuff or whatever. So um yeah, the latest ones dropped is worth $145,000. I suggest you definitely do your homework on this game because I'm going to get into what it means, what this game and this bet meant on an occult aspect. Because you had the angels. See, they said in the last days it was going to be 10,000 angels that was going to come back. This isn't fake. It says it in the Bible. And then you had the tigers. This represents Asia. So the ones dropped for the angels on the tigers in Asia because there's some problems going on with bonds and trading in Asia right now. So China, they bought up. Let's say this, I'm gonna shut down. Do your homework and your research on everything I'm telling you. Because if you want to get into sovereignty, they will. My friend went overseas just to get gold, and they locked him up for that. They trumped up fake charges on him for that. He went to Morocco and got gold and brought it back, and they treated him like he was bringing dope back. Know what you're doing when you get involved in it. You want to be a millionaire and a billionaire, know what you're doing. Because in 5 days, they could try to jail you if you don't know what you're doing. And then on the other side of the law, though, to them, don't go putting your hands and touching certain people, and you ain't got the money to jail them. Because guess what? A lot of jails are bankrupt because of that. For putting people in jail that are, if you got the paperwork and type it up right, you can get out of jail. Period. If you got a certain amount of insurance backing your straw man name, because they can't touch you if you're worth $1 million. If they ain't got the credit for that. So that's a whole nother story. So that's how you get out to my people that's locked up right now. I know several people. But research that game, and I'm going to go into the street aspect of how to get credit out of that. You know, the real deal, not all of this. Okay, go get some stocks, even though you could. I can teach you how to do that straight on the street through the cash registers. You can go buy a few things from the stores and get stocks, man. Just kind of know what you're doing. But, so that's what this represents. The angels, the ones on the tigers. The tiger represents Asia. The symbol of the tiger represents the Asians. So, from my occult research, that's what I put, that's how I look at it. So, what's going to happen is that we have to figure it out now. Because this one, it doesn't go away. See, people, they forget about it. It's like games, they 1-0 drop and they forget about it. But an occultist, you could study a game that happened 5 years ago and get something out of it and get $1 million worth of info out of it, man. This shit is deep. So what's going to happen? We're going to go ahead and teach on this for a while because I want to give you an example so you can really understand what I be talking about. So a lot of people are like, where are you? Okay, so I'm giving you a real live model. So it drops. So what I have to do now, since it dropped and I decided to be on the zero side, because I have 100, don't believe me, I got $145,000 worth of credit on this phone. So I can verify that technically, but what I do is when the 1-0 drops, I just start from scratch. I like to do it like that. Start from zero. So far I've visited about 10 grand in credit. And every time you give me a donation, this helps the credit to just keep going. So if you want to still be a part of the cutting edge, you really into this, you can sign up with somebody. This is why I ask people to sign up and to donate. Because when you sign up with me, you automatically tied into the credit. Because my name is worth way more than $150,000 of credit alone. My straw man name that you're donating to. So I have to prove that now through the networks, though. So when you donate to me, I'm still proving the higher up chains, satellites, blockchains, cryptocurrencies. I'm dealing with all this. I have to reprove everything. So that's what I'm doing. So what are you doing? Like when you're not making videos, just sitting around playing? Like, nah, I have to go prove stuff and go to make visits and appointments with people. And it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to it. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So when I come back up, I'll just keep coming up with info about. Because my time ran out. I want to say more. It's a lot I'm going to say. But that's what you need to study now. Like when China bought those bonds, and they owe money now, man. They don't want to hear it. Interest kicks in and stuff. Nobody wants to talk about interest. So they owe money now. So now you got all this stuff jumping off or whatever. And America wants to buy back what's theirs. Because don't get me wrong, China did buy a lot of the bonds, but they aren't performing correctly from what I've studied. For different various reasons. So we're going to go into proving that to you hopefully over time and next, and going into what this means game by game and stock by stock. Because when the ones drop, they act as the boss though. In sports, no matter how you look at it, until that next one drops. So you can get stocks, shares, you can build up a whole portfolio over time. Like the longest I've ever visited a one was like 40 days, man. We made so much money in that time. We raised so much money for people. We spent so much money too. But yeah, man, it was 40 days I participated one time. Me and some of my people out of Minnesota, shout out to them. But participated in this one thing or whatever, so that was 40 long days, man, and a lot of credit. So it could get lucrative. You could do a lot through it, believe it or not. They keep some of it too, so when the next one drop, you don't have to prove as much. And keep some of it too. When the one start dropping, you might not have to prove as much. So I'm going to get up with more, man and woman. My time has run out. I thank you all for participating in everything you guys have been helping and doing. Everything is well. I'm well. I'm just a busy guy, but you will see the performance and the information in which you're learning increase over time. So great day. Stay vigilant.